Welcome to A Mess in the Kitchen, the podcast all about demystifying home cooking. I'm Molly Cat, a food and travel writer who loves to cook but is only so-so at it. My co-host, Dusty Kugler, is a former food stylist, caterer, and food fanatic that always makes cooking look effortless and somehow manages to clean up after herself in the process. We talk recipes, cooking tips and techniques, our favorite kitchen gear, mishaps, and successes. We believe eating good food at home doesn't have to be so complicated, and if you screw up, who cares? That's why God invented frozen pizza. Here's the show.
Oh, hey, Dusty.
Hi, Molly.
Guess what it is?
Chip day.
Yes, it's time for another episode of A Mess in the Kitchen, and we're talking about your favorite thing on earth.
Yep. I love them.
Yeah, it's so funny. So full disclosure, we'll let listeners in to we'll break the fourth wall. Is that even a thing in podcast? I have no idea. But so we are at my family cabin for the week, and whenever I'm up here, I just get so discombobulated, and it's hard for me to get anything done. And I was like, oh my God, we have to record the podcast and I can't think of anything to talk about. Well, it'd be easy. And of course, my husband is immediately like, what did he say? So many things. And I was like, that's hard. I don't know about that. I can't even think of what it was, like grilling, or you could talk about specialty diets due to food sensitivities. I'm like, get real. Are you high?
No, but if he were high, he would want chips.
He would want chips. And all of a sudden I was like, chips. Because I know that they're your favorite.
They are my favorite. I love chips, all kinds. They're my absolute fave.
What first got you interested in chips, Dusty?
Let's see. I don't know. I've always eaten chips. So I would say most likely my mom grew up with not a lot. So,
yes.
They never had chips or snack foods or anything like that. They hardly had, anything good. So I think because I grew up where my mom never wanted my sister and I to want for anything, as she would say it, we always had snacks. And I always went for the salty. All right, I'd say I'd go to the salty more than the sweet because we had a lot of candy because my mom is a candy freak.
Yeah, I would say you're less on the. I mean, I don't even think of you really as a candy person. I know you you have the candy drawer at your house, but yes. I don't think of you. I think of you strictly as salty things.
Yes, love the chips. And I've always growing up, I liked the noise. I know you can't stand that, but I like food that is it's so much more satisfying to me if it's ow. Do you know what I mean?
That's funny. I don't, I hate the noise. So yes. If you don't know, I have terrible misophonia, if you're listening, which is when you experience severe irritation, rage, anxiety around people who are noisy eaters. Oh my God, this also would have been a really great episode to do today, because I wouldn't even had to research. Well, maybe I would have, but I could tell you all about misophonia. It's so I have it especially around gum chewing. It makes me want to murder someone. Popcorn eating at movie theaters, but I have a friend who has misophonia. She doesn't go to movies because of it, because of the popcorn. But good thing with popcorn is that, do you notice? You probably don't, but I do. People are almost always done with the popcorn 5 minutes into the movie.
Oh, yeah. And they're talking the whole time they're eating it. So it's
oh, yeah.
Typically when the movie starts, there's not that much of it.
Yeah, because people just get in their seat and they just pound it. They're like, rah, rah. And then by the time the movie starts, they're like, oh, wow, I just ate literally 2 gallons of popcorn.
I feel like crap.
But anyway, I understand with the sound, because I mean
internally though, because I'm not really into the other people's noises in their mouth either, but I don't have what you have. I would say eat with your mouth closed, but I could stand it. You, on the other hand,
No,
would
but
be like,
there is something satisfying about a crunch.
Yeah.
But like even sometimes. Do you ever put your chips in a sandwich?
Oh, always. And that's what I was going to say is that I
Yes.
started that when I was little on my peanut butter and jellies.
Oh my
And I
God.
would either put, it's better flavored. I mean, I'll go with the regular potato chip, but
Oh,
for the most part, like
interesting.
the barbecue or regular Doritos are the best on a peanut butter and jelly.
Wait, what do you define as a regular Dorito? I just had this course because I'm at the cabin, so it's like Chip Central up here. I'm like,
Yeah.
my friend Greg was like, I love a regular Dorito. And I said, what to you is a regular Dorito?
Yeah.
So, what,
It's the red bag. It never had a
nacho?
name. Yeah,
Nacho cheese?
it never had a name. No, yes, nacho, but it didn't have a name when I was growing up. It was just the red bag. It never
Wow.
had a name until there was other flavors. So
Oh,
like
like
growing up,
Cool
there was
Ranch?
just, yeah, Cool Ranch was the first flavor, but I feel like I
Hmm.
was in like high school or something when that came out because it was just the red bag. That's it.
Yeah. Because I think to me, I always think, yeah, nacho cheese, and then they have Cool Ranch. And then somewhere in there was a taco thing that happened, which is also pretty good. But I think my favorite is the Cool Ranch. But so you put that on a PB&J?
Yes, that's my favorite. Or I also would eat it on a turkey sandwich, on any sandwich, actually. I can't think of a
Yeah.
sandwich that I wouldn't put a potato chip on.
Yeah.
Maybe, no, I don't even like grilled cheese, but I guess if I liked grilled, I think I would put it on a grilled cheese too, but you'd have to
Yeah.
put it on there while you were cooking. Well, maybe not.
I don't know. Yeah. How would you? I feel like it might get soggy.
Yeah, maybe you have to like cook it, open it, and watch the
Yeah.
cheese go. You know what I mean? And then stick them in there. I think,
That's
right?
hilarious. Yes. Yeah. What's funny is I used to always, so for me, I kind of like on a PB&J. I remember when I used to work at that catering company in high school, I would sometimes make a PB&J on like this, it's the best and the squishiest white bread you can find. You have to like pick off the roof of your mouth. And then inside I would put either like a really sturdy potato chip, like a
Mm-hmm.
kettle cooked one. We had the Rachel's brand there. Do
Oh,
you know the Rachel's brand?
is the Rachel's brand the brand that they sell at Subway? No, that's Mrs. Vickers, right?
Oh yeah, yep, that's different.
Okay, now I don't think I've ever had Rachel's brand. Actually, I'm going to
Eh,
Google it. As
I
long as I see the photo, I'll know what it is.
Yeah, it's like a kind of thing you would maybe find at a deli or I know that's one of the, I don't know if Panera has it or whatever, but um so I would do like one of those in there, and now this one's kind of just gives you a lot of,
Oh yeah, I know which ones you're talking about. I see
yeah,
them now. The
they have
Rachel's
like
is written really
they have a
weird.
garlic parmesan one that's so good.
Oh yeah, I see that purple bag.
But sometimes when I didn't want a chip, I would sometimes put a saltine in my sandwich in my PB&J, which was also kind of good.
Weird. I've never thought of that.
Yeah,
I'll try it though.
it's more crunch than it is flavor, you know?
Yeah, well, they don't taste like anything but like I don't get
They
it.
they
But they're
taste
good
like
in
the
soup.
flu.
Yeah, they do remind me of being sick, but they don't taste like anything.
No, but
But
why
whatever.
they're so good in like a chicken noodle soup or something?
They are. Okay, but we're not talking about crackers, lady. Let's get back
No.
on the chips.
Yes. Yes. Um, that's so
The softer
funny.
the sandwich, though, the
Yes.
more appreciated the chip, I would say.
Yeah, we should get T-shirts with that on it. The softer, the softer the
Trademark.
sandwich. That sounds like so dirty somehow. This yuck. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we
Um,
edit that, strike
yeah.
it.
Goodbye. Um, so we kind of broke this down by category. And can we
Yeah,
start with tortilla chips? What do you think
sure.
makes for a good tortilla chip?
Okay, so what I think, I like it to be super crunchy, of course.
No, I like mine just really like soft and bendy.
But you know what I mean. I don't like the ones that break. I'm sorry, when you're eating a tortilla chip, how often are you not dipping it in something?
Oh yeah.
Hardly ever. So it can't be one of those weenie chips that always breaks in your dip. That's annoying. Then you're like,
So
whose stuff is that in the dip? It's
yes.
disgusting.
Although here's one thing that I really like, a very crispy, thin tortilla chip in something like skillet queso.
Very specific for the dip. I like it. Yeah, I get it. I totally get those. And I like, have you had the ones, okay, it's like restaurant style. I can't remember the name of it, but they're thinner, definitely thinner. And like white corn versus the yellow corn versus you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the donkey chips are like sturdy, right? Like
Yes.
you're not dropping shit if you're eating one of those.
No,
But
you
like,
could scrape wallpaper off the wall with that.
that's why I like them. They almost hurt your teeth when you eat them. That's how good they are. I love them so much.
Yeah, it almost is like they're made from like a super sturdy, like real corn tortilla, like a restaurant. You know what I mean? Like a
yes.
burrito. Like,
And
do you ever think when you're eating chips, like, how many tortillas did I just eat? Did I just eat like 7 tortillas?
No, I don't ever think that. Never,
Well,
ever.
Don't. What do you think? I'm sorry, I probably ruined chips for somebody just now.
Oh, no. Don't think that. Chips are good. They're your friend. I love them.
I know.
The restaurant ones are the best, though. I mean, like at a restaurant, like if you're at a Mexican restaurant and they make their own chips, they are the best. And I like the ones that have the weird seasoning. Like, not really sure what those are. You know what I mean? Sometimes there's salt and sugar on them. Have you had those?
No.
Sounds weird, but they're so good. I bought them at Fresh Time, and I've had them at a restaurant before where it's like they just put a little bit of sugar in it. I know it sounds really weird, but then it's either with like the tahine stuff or with paprika or whatever, so it's kind of reddish.
Kind of red powder.
Yeah, like, so good.
Oh, well, that's actually one of my favorite chips. So I think this is a regional chip, but regional. This sounds like I'm an academic right now. This is a regional chip straight out of Madison, Wisconsin. But did I ever have you try the Pasquale's chips? They're from.
Oh my God. I have them in my pantry. I just ate 5 of them before I sat down to do this. They're so good. What is the red stuff on them?
No clue. I don't know. It's got like this light dusting of some magic on them. And so my in-laws brought them up for when they were coming for the weekend. Like they always come with, like, as if we don't have grocery stores here. That's how they arrive at our house. So with like 2 dozen eggs and chorizo and bread. And
do they want to come to my house?
Oh, totally. I know it's super nice, but I'm like, it's hard to travel with eggs, I think. Like there's some things that are
cooler.
Yeah, I know, but it's
that'll do it.
6-hour drive.
So they gave you the Southwest ones, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But now they have them. They have them at, I've seen them at Hy-Vee in the Twin Cities.
Oh.
If you have a Hy-Vee by you, listener, you have to try them. They're like open up the bag and say goodbye.
Yeah, well, you know me. I would be eating them in the store. Maybe not today, but I've been known to do that. Yes, I've been known to do that. But I've not been to a Hy-Vee here, so I must have bought mine I think I bought them at Jerry's.
Oh, yeah.
Jerry's.
They're kind of showing up. They're showing up places. So if you see Pasquale's, they're in kind of a brown papery bag with one of those windows where you're like, I probably can't recycle this, can I?
Just tear that out.
Yes, I actually do that. I do that on my mail too. Is that weird? Am I elderly?
No, it's not weird.
Okay.
I'm looking online. It doesn't say what's on there. Damn it. I gotta go look in the bag.
Also, how do you feel about the hint of lime Tostitos?
Hit or miss. So I like the Tostito brand one, and I like the Trader Joe's. So the Trader Joe's have this brand. It's a white bag, blue writing with like some tan on it, and it says restaurant style tortilla chips. And then in the tiniest little text you've ever seen, it says hint of lime. So I didn't like them when I didn't read that. And I was like, what is up with these? But then I was like, oh, it's lime. And then I ate the whole bag.
I get that. It's sort of like when you take a drink of something and you think it's water, but it's milk or something. And you're like, la, 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 la. But yeah. Yeah, I love the Tosti. I don't like any other Tostitos chips really, but the hint of lime ones are
Oh, okay.
So
So
good.
let me ask you about, I've got two Tostitos, and this is like
Oh,
national brand, so I'm sure all of our listeners nationwide can relate to this.
yes.
Um, how do you feel about the roasted red pepper and the bean and garlic, which are like
Oh,
wheat and corn?
wait,
Oh,
I have a question for you about that. So are these
yes.
the ones, so they're the bag with the multicolored chips?
No, I'm not a
Oh,
fan of the multicolored anything, like those
me
red, white, and blue
neither.
chips. What the hell are those?
I
No.
agree.
Red chips? What is in that? That is not normal.
No,
Blue, I get.
blue
Blue,
corn,
I
it's a
get.
thing.
But
Red
the red
corn,
ones? No, maybe.
I
I mean, someone will probably send us a picture of a red corn. That's fine. But I
no.
don't believe that screaming red, like on a flag, is the color of a chip. I'm sorry.
No, it's I could just see someone like with a little food coloring dropper.
Yeah,
Yuck.
it's weird. And they usually do that around 4th of July, which I also think is very strange. Like
Yes.
on a cookie, maybe, but on a chip? It's weird.
No.
It's also weird when you go to a restaurant and they have red and blue chips.
Yes. And except for sometimes when they're like kind of like the really thick ones and kind of greasy, then I kind of like them. But that's just because they're greasy and thicker.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I like anything greasy, so I'm going to be in. Anything you have to like lick your fingers after you're eating it, especially because there's salt and something else on it, then I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yes.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you about those. What I mean about so they're Tostitos. They're in like a different bag. They're like smaller, of course. All the good stuff
Mhm.
is smaller. Um,
Mhm.
and they're like wheat and corn chips, and then so they're the healthy ones, I guess. I
Yeah.
don't know,
Yeah.
unless you have celiac or something. And then it's one is roasted red pepper, and then the other is black bean and garlic, and they're really good. They're like super flavorful, and they don't taste super fake.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you're like, ugh, that's
Or they
not supposed
like
to
they
taste like
taste
that.
or they taste like they were made like a year ago. Like kind of just dry and like sad.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah. I
not,
mean,
you know
those
what?
aren't
I've not
like
had
that.
them. I haven't
They're
had
pretty
them.
good. I will bring you some. So they're pretty good.
Okay.
But the real question is, do you just like the like Tostitos scoops that are made, that are brown, like are the wheat ones instead of like the regular ones? So you see like scoops and then they're like multi-grain. Have you seen those?
No, I haven't. Or I don't
Okay.
know. I mean, I'm aware of the scoops and I kind of like the scoops for their function for sure.
Oh yeah, totally. I get that. Whoever invented that press that makes those, pretty smart. I
Hmm.
wish I would have done it. But the multi-grain one, I keep saying wheat, and I mean multi-grain.
Hmm.
Because I think that's actually what it says on the bag. It's sad. I know every single chip in the chip aisle. I mean, if you gave me a chip quiz, I think I would get 100%.
I
But
think you would.
anyway,
You're good at trivia. What was that trivia contest you like almost won?
not pop-up video, but trivia. I'll think of it. It was on MTV or VH1. Trivia.
Were
I'll
you
think
on
of it.
it?
No, we tried out to get it and we didn't win. I think
Mm.
we were too old. Everybody else was like young and hot. We were like
Yeah. With like, oh wait,
early.
you do have a weird name. I always think everything on MTV, I'm like, if your name isn't kind of weird, you have no shot. Like if your
Yeah,
name is Jill or something,
but
but you're a Dusty.
it was groups of three. So my friend Jennifer
Hmm.
or at the time she was Jen Kimmel. I don't think she was married. I was married. And then my friend Dan Shanahan. So he was all about the sports, knew all of it, knew all the sports. Jen knew all the English. She was an English major, and I knew every single thing there was to know about pop culture.
And chips.
Anything and chips. Well, and if anything, and kind of food, but if anybody had a question about something that is totally irrelevant, like nobody needs to know, somehow I would know it. I have no idea
I
how.
am like that too, though. I'm like so good at that kind of trivia. I think I can't believe I'm wasting brain space on this bullshit. Like, but I can't help it. I can't. I don't know anything like that actually matters. But
Well, I don't know what the deal is with that. What was it called? I'm gonna have to Google it because I can't remember. But it was fun. We just didn't get on there, which I was super mad about because we waited in a super long line and it was downtown Chicago. I was sweating my ass off. But anyway, back to the real conversation, which is chips. It's the multi-grain ones I would totally turn my nose up at. And my healthy husband is like, those are the best. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to try them. They're surprisingly good because they have a hint of sweetness that like a regular chip doesn't.
Oh, and then to Prentice, he's like, "Whoa, I have a sugar high from eating these multi-grain chips."
Exactly. Mr. Healthy Pants. Yeah.
Oh my
So,
God.
but he turned me on to them and I do like them. I mean, it's not my
Okay.
first choice, but I would definitely not turn them away.
Okay.
And there are some chips I will turn away.
Do you want to explain? Oh, by the way, I want to do one quick shout out too. At Costco, I do not care for the Kirkland brand chips, but they have those late July ones now.
Oh, never
They're in a
had
green
that.
bag, hint of
Really?
lime and jalapeno. They're so delicious. They didn't have them the last time I
Oh,
went to Costco though, so maybe,
really?
Costco they can be hit or miss.
They can be. You know which ones I buy at Costco, which I think are like an amazing value and delish. The Cape Cod,
Oh, the
reduced
Cape.
fat. You know my
the-
take on reduced fat. Yep, just plain. You know which
Yes.
ones I'm talking about. Crunch
Did I
Orama.
have did I have them for lunch today? You bet
So
I did.
good. That's right, because I'm sure your dad went to Costco and bought 15 bags of them. Good job,
Did.
Bruce. Of
He
course he
did.
did.
They're so good.
They're so good. And they're super cheap. Like the big, huge ass bag is like four something. And then I also like, what's the white bag with, oh crap, what's it called? And they have salt and pepper and maybe it's Kirkland
The
brand, but
kettle
yes, it's
Oh
the
no,
kettle brand.
the kettle brand in the pepper ones, you're like, yow, these are spicy in a good way.
But the ones I buy are the pink salt ones or the Himalayan
Oh,
salt ones, and they're ripple chips.
I love those are so sturdy and they're
Oh,
really fun to eat.
they are so good. And you
Like,
could literally eat pulled pork on them. You could eat like a hot dog
mhm.
on it and they wouldn't crack. They're so
You know,
good.
they are so good. You know what I like to do in that vein is I will do like a sloppy Joe on that kind of potato chip.
Oh my God. Okay. I have not heard the words sloppy Joe in like 10 years, and I just heard it. I forget about things like that. I forget about things that I ate my entire childhood. And
Hmm.
my friend Tanya actually was like, "Oh, we had Sloppy Joes for my birthday because her mom had like a surprise 50th birthday party for her."
Oh,
And then I was
fun.
like, "Oh, I would have killed to have a Sloppy Joe with a whole paper plate filled with chips, not even a bun."
Oh, no, and like a dill pickle too, like
Oh,
so good. Actually,
oh my God, yum.
this is a tangent, but not really. Um, Defined Dish has a recipe for sloppy Janes, and I think they call it that because instead of serving them on a bun,
Hmm.
she recommends you do it on like a roasted sweet potato, which is also really delicious. But of course,
Really?
I want it is, but I want the crunch, right? So like a chip. But her recipe, I think it's just like ground beef with like mustard and maybe some there's some sauteed onion and peppers and stuff in it and some seasoning, but it's super easy and like fairly healthy if your definition of healthy is whole foods. But I've made that a few times and it's delicious.
Really? Okay.
So
Good
you
to
should try
know.
that. I mean, because like I'm not gonna open up a man wit. I don't even know what sloppy joes are that my grandma would make, but I probably don't want to know.
I don't think they're that bad. It's probably just like sugar, tomato paste. If you make your own, that's all it is. So
Yeah.
there probably has like dehydrated peppers and minced onions, those nasty things that you can get in the spice. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Minced
Oh yeah,
onions
yeah, yeah.
or
Hmm.
dried onions or whatever they are. Um, yeah, I think my mom used to, every once in a while we'd have manwich, but for the most part she would make her own. And it was
Yeah.
kind of like, had some ketchup, had some mustard, had some brown sugar,
Yes.
had some green peppers or something. I don't know. It was
I don't
so
know.
good though.
I might make them this week with
Oh my
chips.
gosh. Yeah, you don't even need buns. Actually, you have little kids, so you should get those mini buns.
I know. My kids last night
Hawaiians.
we had brats and they were like, "Oh,
Oh
I'll just take a bun, please." I'm like, "Oh
my
God,
God,
you
that is so
suck."
funny. Um, you should tell them, well, those are like, the Hawaiian buns are like so delicious because not only do they stick to the roof of your mouth, but they're like sugar balls. They're
Oh, I
so
know.
amazing. And A Mess in the Kitchen brought to you by Hawaiian buns.
Hawaiians.
You know how much I love them on spinach dip.
I mean, they're good on everything.
Yeah, I mean, yum. Ham sandwich on after, like Thanksgiving.
Or
Anyway,
Easter,
back to
yeah.
chips.
Ugh,
You
yes.
haven't given me, I could go on forever, and I'd like to actually know your opinions on chips because I keep talking about them and I have a million comments that I could still go on. So
Well,
let's get your
here's
take.
here's the deal. As you know, I grew up in a 1980s/90s low-fat, fat-free house.
Eef.
So the only chips we ever had at our house were reduced fat Pringles, which my dad
Ugh.
buys and continues to buy.
Ugh.
I
It's
kind of
the
have a
only reduced fat anything I don't like.
right. I mean, yeah, what is your stance on a Pringle?
So I'm weird about Pringles. They have to be like the original one, like the red
In the
can.
red can? Mm-hmm.
Something with red in the 80s, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the original, or I've been known to do a not barbecue, not the weird cheddar thing, not any weird thing outside of like the salt and vinegar ones.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
those I can do, but all of the other ones I don't like because they don't taste like real food to me.
No. No, they're like a pressed potato
Ugh.
thing. They're like a potato I mean, I'll eat a Pringle. One of my most vivid memories from this sounds so bad. I shouldn't even tell the story, but I'm going to. I
Oh,
just
do it.
remember one time getting like super high in high school and eating a full can of Pringles.
Well, yeah. I mean, come on.
Like, once you pop, you can't stop. Why are they in a tennis ball container?
That's the best thing about them, I think.
It is. Think about, they stay so fresh because you can put that top on there. It's so like tight, and then and the other thing is you don't open them up and think, hey, this bag's half empty. It's like always full.
You know what bugs me about it? What do you think bugs me about it the most? Let's see if you can get it. You might not know because I might just be that weird that nobody else thinks like this. It's very possible. What I don't like about it is that you can't check and see if they're broken before you buy them because people is knocking that shit off of shelves and they're breaking all over the place.
Wait, you mean the Pringles?
Yes, the Pringles. I don't like broken Pringles. They're barely a chip in the first place.
Yeah, and then when yes, I agree actually. When they're broken, you're just like, ugh, why bother?
This is just crumbs. You can't even, there's nothing satisfying there at all. It's just a crumb. And so I wish I could just you know how you can feel fruit before you buy it? Like, cannot do that with Pringles. No way to do it.
You can't do it with most potato chips.
Yes,
well, you can feel them, I guess.
Well, you can feel the bag, but like a lot of them you can see through.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Tortilla chips, that is.
Yes.
Anyway, I got my issues.
But I love your issues. They're the best. They're so funny.
Do you know what my favorite potato chip is that nobody else thinks is a chip but me?
Oh.
I bought them for you. I think you know what they are. I mean, they're technically a snack, but I think they're chips because they're shaped like them and they're delicious.
God. I don't know.
Munchos. They're like the best thing ever. They're like a Funyun without the onion flavor. They're so awesome.
Oh, I don't think I've had them.
What? It's like the silvery orange bag. Oh my God.
Yeah.
New life experience. First of all, you're up north at a cabin. There are bags of Munchos all around you. Go to any gas station. That's where they always are. They're next to the Funyuns. They're owned by the same company.
Okay.
Munchos. What you do is you put them in your mouth and then you
do they
put your
disintegrate?
tongue. Yes, you put, but they crack first. So you put them at the roof of your mouth and then you touch your tongue to them and it goes, and then it just disintegrates. They're unbelievable.
Okay. I love them
so much.
I'm going to look for those.
You do not have to look far. It's just nobody buys them.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, there's a couple weird things where you're like, why? How is that still a thing?
They're like air chips, but they're not pop chips. Like they're not healthy. Don't get me wrong. They're just airy chips. I really like them.
Yeah. And this is what I was going to say. I grew up in a house where we didn't really, like, a chip was purchased because it sort of was a treat, but mostly was not. So like there's a lot of baked Lays, a lot of pretzels without salt. What kind of monster buys those?
Who is anything without salt?
I
Oh
don't
my
know.
God. I would have been a scarred child living in your household. I would have been let me out.
Wait, you know what I used to eat for like a crunch on something? This is so bad. Melba toast. I'm not kidding.
Okay, I like Melba toast, but they are crunchy nothing. They're just
Yeah.
brown crunchy nothing, but
That you
they're
like would
really good.
smear. I would put cream
Yes.
cheese, and then like something else on top of them.
Now, you know that weird port cheese or like the super sharp
Oh yeah.
that like almost hurts your eyes when you're eating it? I love that stuff on those, but that's really all you can eat.
Do you know my prom dress was port wine cheese colored?
Oh my God.
It
Please
was
put that up.
orange and fuchsia, and then like kind of just like just kind of the one color went into the other. It was good.
Come
I bought it
on.
on Melrose Avenue because we were on vacation in LA, and I was like, I'm so cool.
Wow. That is really cool, actually. I think you could have been wearing a sack and you said that you bought it on Melrose Avenue
Yeah,
in the 90s, and people would be like, oh my God, that's so amazing.
yeah. Well, it was, and my date had frosted tips.
Of course. Oh my God, that is so
Mhm.
freaking funny. I love it.
Port
I
wine
love
cheese
it.
out Melba toast.
Oh my
So
God, I love it.
I didn't even really start eating. I didn't really embrace the chip until I met you.
What? You're
I know.
kidding.
No, I would eat I mean, I had like a fat and food kind of like phobia for a long time. Like I thought I was gonna like die or something or get cancer, which is hilarious because that's like the opposite. But
Wow. Yeah, and guess what? Ooh, maybe they're
wait,
onto something. Just kidding.
but seriously, I was like, I remember you being like, "Well, you gotta have chips with everything," and I kind of do eat chips with everything, but I like my favorite is a kettle chip with salt and vinegar. Like I love a salt and vinegar chip, and I will eat them till my face feels like it has no skin left. My mouth
You
has no
mean your
skin left in it.
tongue? Your
I know it's
tongue.
like
It's
ow,
just
ow, ow.
raw. Yeah, those are good. I'd say salt and vinegar is probably like third on my flavor list. But yeah, they're so good. I love how they have such an effect on your
I know
mouth.
why
It's so weird.
it's sort of like you know how like, toothpaste doesn't have to be minty, but it is because it like
Hmm.
makes your mouth tingle or something, so you feel like it's working more. I feel like the salt and vinegar chips are a little bit like that, and weirdly, my daughter loves them. Like
Oh, well, that's
I
because
don't
she likes pickles and limes and stuff too,
yeah
right? That
yeah
makes
she
sense.
does. And I didn't get into the dill chips until later, but those are really good, like the pickle chips.
Oh, I love them. My only like drawback on the pickle chips is they're never kettle chips. They're
Yeah, I know
always
they're
the
always
thin ones.
yes. Why
There
is
must
that?
be, I don't know, maybe there's something in there that you can't kettle it. I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe I feel like they're probably like, oh, like dill pickle chips aren't like classy enough. Actually, though, I think Kettle brand kettle chips have a dill one, but I'm not sure actually. I'm gonna look next time I go to the store.
Wait, oh, you think they do? I've never had them. If they
I
have,
don't know. Or those old Dutch like fancy brand ones. You know, they have like old Dutch in a box and then
yeah, I like the old Dutch black, the black bag, you mean?
yes.
Yeah, I've never
Those
seen dill pickle. Maybe they do. Huh.
I don't know. I'm
It's
gonna
very
look.
possible, which
How
would
do you
be
feel about
shocking if I
how
didn't
do you
know.
do you like barbecue chips?
Oh yeah, can't be too smoky though.
Yeah. Yeah, they're
I,
not a favorite of mine, but
jalapeno is my favorite, but I don't like jalapeno and cheddar. Ick.
oh, interesting.
It's too powdery.
Yeah, they do get a little powdery.
But I cannot have a sandwich without chips. It's an issue. It's an issue. Like I can't go to, you're on a road trip and you're like, oh, Subway, even though we worked above Subway and the
Oh,
idea, I mean, it's just the smell of the bread. The rest of the stuff,
why?
it's like, it's not the worst thing in the whole world.
No.
It's the
No,
smell of the bread.
I have a thing where the reason I'm kind of weirded out by Subway is now, and this is also controversial, I'm like the only person on the planet that doesn't like Chipotle, but it's
Nope.
because no matter what you order there, it all tastes the same.
I am not a Chipotle fan. My kids are wackadoodle over it, but mine has to do with cleanliness. That's my issue.
Oh,
I don't want to get in trouble, so I'm not going to say anything. But
Okay.
I have emailed Chipotle before. I will say I'm not usually like that, but like the third
Yeah.
time you go into the same one, and it's like, has anyone wiped one of these tables since like last Thursday? It's so gross.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
granted, it's a bunch of kids running in and out eating, but it's like, just come on, clean it up.
Right.
What's it look
No,
like
I
in the
agree.
kitchen if I don't want to sit here and eat? Ugh.
Oh, I know. I hate thinking about that. Wait, what's your favorite kind of potato chip?
You mean favorite flavor?
Hmm,
Or like,
I'd say
so
both.
if
I
I
want to
could
know
pick,
both.
okay. Well, I mean, I like kettle chips, I would say, because they're the crunchiest, right? And
Mhm.
then for some reason, the reduced fat are always the crunchiest, which I have no idea why, but I love them. So I
Yeah, I
typically
don't know
will
why
go
either.
with that. Same with like crackers, like the Triscuits and all those reduced fat ones. I don't know what's in it. I should probably do some research, but I always buy them because they're crispier and crunchier. So I buy those. If I'm like at a store and I'm starving, I'm going to go for like 3 different bags. First, I'm going to get the jalapeno kettle chips for sure. If they
Uh-huh.
have Munchos, I'm going there.
Okay.
And then, but if it's for like dip, then I have to have either like a kettle ripple chip
Mhm.
or reduced fat Ruffles. The best. You can
And
never find them for some reason. Like Ruffles brand.
yeah. No,
Not the
I
Frito-Lay Ripple chips. We are talking
no.
about two separate things there. Ruffles.
Yeah, Ruffles, they kind of look like they were cut with like one of those like
Yes.
serrated scissors. You know what I
Yes. And
mean?
they're super thin, but they're so crispy. They're so good. Those are the best dip chips ever, like French onion dip. I
Oh my
love that.
God.
Or like for your sloppy Joe. So good. They're not
Yes.
always the sturdiest because the kettle chips are sturdier, but the reduced fat Ruffles brand are the best. And they only come in like small bags for some reason. I don't know why.
Are they small bags or like the bag that
Yeah, not
should be
12 ounce and not, yes, single size. Yeah, it's weird.
yeah, the in between size you're like, I know I'm not supposed to eat this whole bag, but it's I'm gonna save that for
How
later.
can I
I'm gonna
not?
yeah,
I know. I'm with you there.
that's funny. Um,
Yeah, I
what do
think
you
that's it.
is there like a bet is a kind of chip that you don't even like to buy because you're when you open it it's gone?
That's kind of like a lot of all of them. I
Oh, okay.
I have a problem. I do. Like just on a Saturday when I'm bored, I'll just find myself in the pantry with my hand in the chip bag. It's so bad. And then I'm like, oh my God, I'm not even hungry. What am I doing? But they're so satisfying.
I know. I know it's kind of a full experience.
Yeah, some people like chocolate, some people like cookies. I just have to have chips. If I'm on a road trip, like I gotta have multiple flavors and types of chips.
Um, yeah, I can't there's this one chip that I do not even allow myself to buy because it's a problem for me, and that is like the sweet chili Doritos. They're in a purple
Oh,
bag.
why are those so good?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's like, okay, I'm gonna just have
Oh, no,
300.
no, no, no.
Yes. No, you can't
It's
stop.
because they're the perfect amount of spice and sweet. They're weird.
Mm-hmm. Yes. They are weird. Yeah, I remember when I found them, I was like, oh no, goodbye. Like,
Oh, they're
can't
really
have them.
good. I see. I can't have those very often though, so I don't think that that would be one that I would get all the time. I think okay, so that's your favorite Dorito flavor?
Uh-huh.
I think mine is taco, which you can
Yeah.
never find. They give you all Doritos give you the worst breath ever, but it's so worth it.
Yes. I know, and that's a chip that you could definitely eat all on its own. Though I bet the taco ones would be good and like, oh, you don't like sour cream, but I bet they would be good in there.
Yeah, if I like that, but I'm not opposed to like sour cream with something in it, so it seems like a dip. Because I
Yeah.
love French onion dip and that's sour
Mm-hmm.
cream, but it's
Mm-hmm.
got stuff in it, so I feel like that's different. This is a problem because I think we've been talking about chips for 50 minutes. I'm not
Yeah.
even close to being done, so we might want to just call it I'm not. Do you want to know what I won't eat?
But yes, I do.
Did you ever see those weird Lay's flavors? Remember those weird Lay's flavors
Oh,
that they had of
like turkey and gravy?
oh Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Why would you ever flavor anything like that when you could just eat a plate of turkey and gravy?
I don't know. I think it's a PR thing.
Maybe. I don't know. Those gross. And when you're in England, I know you've had these. I don't like ketchup flavored chips. They kind of like
Ew.
gross me out. They're like ketchup. They're weird.
No, ketchup should not be a flavor. Ketchup should be
right, a condiment.
its own. Just yes. Thank you.
And lastly, Bruce would be upset. I am not a fat-free fan. Those baked
Oh, no.
chips, even like the baked Lay's, they're so frustrating. They're like more frustrating than a Pringle. There's literally one whole chip in an entire bag. All the rest
Oh
of them
my
are just
God.
crumbs.
Yes, that, and then you open them up, and I always feel like you're looking at, there's like 8 of them just like in a bag, and it doesn't satisfy your chip craving, and it's not that delicious.
No. I know
Yeah.
everyone's like, oh, I'm just going to get the baked chip. That's another Prentice thing. I love you, Prentice, but it's all about flavor for me. And I think he likes the crunch, but is less interested in the flavor. Not me.
Yeah.
Not me. Bring it. I'll do an
Somehow,
extra 5-minute walk.
oh yeah, I know. What about, I feel
10
like
more sit-ups.
sun chips somehow it strikes a balance between like healthy seeming and actually delicious.
I like all of the Sun chips except for the weird tomato flavor because I think it must remind me of the ketchup chips. And then
So funny. Josh bought those yesterday.
I don't like
It's like
those.
the garden salsa
Yeah,
flavor,
I don't
and
like those. You mean tomato? It's basically it.
Yeah.
It's like tomato powder. You know how you can get tomato powder? No. And then
I was so starving. I was like, I will take those because we had gone mountain biking for like 2.5 hours, which I'd never done before. And I was like, oh my God, give me any food and any liquid. I would have eaten a ketchup packet at the end. I was so hungry.
that would have to mean you were super hungry if you would eat a ketchup packet. Not
Maybe.
only because of the ketchup itself, but secondly, like squeezing something into your mouth like that. Yuck. Just saying.
I know.
Oh, the equivalent of the Sun chips that I also like that's not really a chip is the pop chips. I do like those, but not cheddar or
I haven't had
anything.
'em.
The only time I want a cheese chip or a cheese flavored thing is if it's a freaking Cheeto.
Yum.
Yeah, but not
Yep.
the puffy ones.
Oh, I like those too.
Oh, the crunchier the better. Crunchier the better. I like those, but I don't really consider. I don't think those are chips. Sorry.
I don't really either. And like same with like thank God we didn't get to popcorn because that isn't a chip and it's a whole different episode.
Oh, okay. We're bringing the famous Kelly Lanesbury on for the popcorn episode.
Yes.
Because we need to have her as a guest because we speak of her often. But secondly, never have I had better popcorn. Ever. I've been trying to duplicate it for years. Doesn't work. You got to
right.
have the Kelly touch, I'm telling you. And before we do it, she should make popcorn for both of us. And Twyla.
Well, but we can't eat it on the podcast because I will kill you all.
I know that. Oh my God, funny.
Oh my gosh, I would too. I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna go excuse myself for a minute, and then I'd go in the other room and be like, ah!
Oh my
Screaming.
God. No, I know. I don't need you to be mad at me. So we're just gonna skip that. Okay, you have on your notes here, lightning round. What's that?
Oh, I was just gonna ask you about chips, like what you thought of certain ones, but I don't know. I feel like you already said everything about every single
You
brand.
didn't even ask me.
No, I was like Pringles. Oh, talked about that. Sun chips. Done. Lay's what? Fritos. Fritos is the only one. They're
But
so
do you like
good.
Fritos?
Not on their own, but I love them. If you were gonna do a walking taco, yes.
Oh, yeah,
Love
same.
them on chili.
Yes,
Like they're
me too.
so good. Like as
Me
a
too.
scoopy, like a spoon replacement.
I like them on all of that. Even like taco, like if pick it up with like taco salad or whatever. And
Mhm.
then another friend of ours, every New Year's Day, we do like the, all day appetizer thing or whatever. And she
Mhm.
makes a pizza dip, which sounds really weird, but it's basically like sauce, cheese, sausage instead of on a crust, like in a pan.
Oh.
And she
Mhm.
serves it with Fritos, and it is so yummy. I could eat the whole freaking pan. So good.
That
And
sounds so dirty and like exactly what you want on New Year's Day.
Totally. And the only other thing
as
dirtier.
if I, like, stay up late on New Year's anymore.
But the
anyway.
only other thing that's dirtier are chili cheese Fritos. And those I can eat
Oh.
a whole snack bag of by myself and then use my teeth to get all of the cheese off my fingers. Right?
Yes.
What is that? But it's just as good. Second time when you're getting it off your fingers.
Do you have to you do that like in a not obvious way, right?
Oh my God. I would never do it in front of anybody, but I do it.
Yeah.
Not even my family. They would so be like, what are you doing? You're always telling us not to fill in the blank. And you're like literally using your teeth to get the cheese powder off your fingers. Hey, we all have weaknesses, right?
I know. I have no shame in admitting I do that too. So, well, I think we could have a round 2 of this whole conversation because we haven't even scratched the surface. So, listeners, please send us your favorite. We want to know all about your favorite regional chips. Yes, you can send us a bag of them if you want. You can DM me on Instagram. Send us your chip recs, and thanks for listening.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to a Mess in the Kitchen podcast. We're really impressed that you made it all the way to the end. You can learn more about our show at amessinthekitchen.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram. The show is produced by Twyla Dang of Matriarch Digital Media. Check them out. She's got tons of great shows at matriarchdm.com. If you like the show, please rate and review us. It helps new people find the show. And until next time, here's to good enough cooking. Cheers.